Welcome to Author Talk. I am your host, Jim Dorman, and today I'm very pleased to have our guest Lorenzo Petruzziello to discuss his latest novel, The Taste of Datura. Lorenzo holds degrees in international marketing and economics with a background in global marketing for the entertainment and life science industries. He writes in his spare time, drawing inspiration from his frequent trips to Italy. His first book dating back to his childhood, The Taste of Datura, is Lorenzo's third book. It's recently made it to the semifinals at the Mystery and Mayhem Book Awards by Chanticleer International Books. So welcome, Lorenzo.
You. Thanks for having me.
And congratulations on your third book.
Thank you. Thanks.
Where do you get, again, so the inspirations?
Yeah.
Italy, how did you come up for the idea for say, the current book?
The current book. So I've been going to Italy since I was 12.
Yes.
Spending my summers there.
Right.
So I wanted to make an homage to my times in Italy. So I chose Naples for this one because I spent most of my summers in southern Italy, not far from Naples. My previous books was set in Milan, which I did a study abroad there. Wow. And then my first book was set in Rome, which is, I was living in Rome when I wrote it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of inspiration there.
Just being there and bringing that experience to readers.
Okay. Well, yeah. I didn't mention that I have read the book and thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed a visit through your book to the city. I really felt like your writing brings it out. Is that something? Is that hard to do, or is it just kind of an enjoyment of the writing? And
it's the enjoyment, but my mission was to bring the reader there with the characters.
Yes.
And like taste the food, smell it, or imagine it, and drinking with the characters and walking around and just stumbling upon things as things happen.
Right. And the book, you describe it in the I think on the cover as noir.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about what the book is about and how it is noir? Again?
Yeah. So I like the old films I watch on Turner Classic, like the old classic mystery suspense noir films inspired, Hitchcock and all that stuff. And I wanted that vibe in my stories. So when I wrote them, they were definitely going to be set in Italy, but they were going to give you that suspenseful vibe. It is crime, but it's not gory and it's not overly graphic in any way. I leave a lot to the imagination, but I want to make you feel suspenseful and, uneasy.
Right. And how do you do that?
How do I do that?
Yeah.
I write it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think about how I would feel in a situation and just exaggerate it or elaborate on it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I did definitely feel the suspense throughout. Definitely some. Just kind of a feeling of suspense or anxiety at times, but also definitely what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
I think the
element of mystery in a way.
Yeah. So can you get any more specific about our main character and?
Oh yeah, sorry about the story. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the main character is Nick Terenzi. He's just in Naples, and he comes across this bracelet that he bought a long time ago, and that basically he's trying to sell it on the black market, and he's realizing that other parties are interested in this thing and he has no idea what it is. So it's him trying to figure out what it is, and he encounters a young grad student. Let me know if I'm saying too much, but I don't think I am. A young grad student who happens to be a medium. She doesn't realize she is, so she's having these visions and doesn't know how to handle them, and they're related to Nick's mission. Right.
Okay, so Nick, the character, we don't know a lot about his background, things like that, and
I left him a little mystery there.
Yeah. But we know kind of. But I started thinking about when I thought about the fact that it's supposed to be noir.
Yeah.
So do we really usually know a lot about these?
No, you just know that something's up with these guys.
Something's up with them. Well, they're kind of.
But I also wanted you to feel like you were Nick in the story, so I left him a little blank there.
That definitely worked. For me, I said, well, I don't know, it just kind of. yeah, lone wolf type of guy.
Yes.
You know, and things were going to happen. I mean, the first thing is the environment in Naples is extreme heat.
Right.
And
which you cannot stand, because I can't stand it.
Yeah, and you just think I can't either. And he's out and about, and there's some hints at that he might be willing to kind of meet up with a lady if the opportunity arises.
Yes, if she has air conditioning.
Well, that's what I was driving towards, is that one of his main goals was to find someone who had air conditioning.
Yes. Hey, so, you do what you got to do.
Right. So anyway, but back to the Duarte thing again. It's a kind of a like maybe a flawed character, or you know, and he runs into other people. No one seems to be too high minded or whatever those.
No, I purposely make all my characters not be perfect.
Yeah.
And I actually want my readers to hate my characters or not like them as much. There might be elements of characters that you'll like, but then you don't know. You always wonder, suspicious about these characters. You have no idea what's going on with these people, what's behind them, or where they came from. Right. I don't want you to know. I want you to always wonder.
Yeah. Well, that definitely worked like that. I liked the one of the things is how you structured the book, and beginning with kind of a future part of the story, the first few chapters, and then kind of coming back to maybe present day, bringing us along. Was that?
Well, it was a past, I think, that you talk about when the German archaeologists are talking about.
Oh no! I'm sorry. That was actually before. No. Going to his trip to Egypt.
Oh, Egypt. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So that whole thing, and then kind of because it wasn't. It wasn't confusing. It's just okay, but you know, as a reader, you got to be on your toes. Okay, we're not going to Egypt. We're not in Egypt anymore.
What's going on with Egypt? Why is he there? Yeah.
Right. So.
I bring you back there.
Yeah, but you bring it back, and then when we come back later on, it's heightened. And I want to compliment you again on kind of bringing out the settings.
Oh, thank you.
That really kind of just when you described as he goes across, sees the Nile River for the first time, and I said, "What that must feel like, really?" I haven't seen the Nile River, or the pyramids of.
Right.
Giza.
We know they're there, but it's what's it feel like seeing them?
And I know people have, but I haven't. And I said, and he's a little bit probably distracted by what he's trying to do, but but still, actually, he very much did want to see them. Anyway, I thought that, but also the streets of Naples. What was the Via del
Coronati or? There was many places we went.
Gregorio?
San Gregorio.
San Gregorio.
Yeah.
And I kind of actually went out to YouTube and looked, and describing the narrow streets and the markets and the different things that people could buy, and there they were.
There they were. Yeah.
Some really interesting.
I was trying to get the reader, reader, to feel that not claustrophobia, but it's there's people always around you, no matter where you turn.
Right.
There on those streets.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge of writing this book for you?
Not being there when I was writing it. So I would go to Naples while I was writing it and spend maybe 3 or 4 days there, here or there, thinking about where my characters would go. But I would come back home and base it off my notes or memory. But being there, I felt like I could really bring you in further into the city with the emotions and what you see. But that's a difficult part, not being there while I'm writing it.
And how much time did you end up actually spending there before you wrote it?
So every time I go to Italy, if I decide to go to Naples, it would be only for 2 days or so at a time. So I'd have to be like, okay, where am I going these 2 days? Where's my character going to go? I would have my ideas where they're going to go, but then while I'm there, I discover something else. So maybe they'll do this or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do introduce a lot of other elements, especially like Greek mythology. Is a
very prominent there in that area.
Yeah. So is that how that came out from just?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to include that because I've tried to include a little bit of the modern culture and a little bit of the history of the city. I wanted the city to be part of the story.
Right.
So, and you need to know a little bit of the history of it, and it's fascinating and enchanting in that way, I say.
Right, and you managed to visit some of the sites and things like that in the book.
Yes.
Or we visit, I guess.
Yeah. Did you feel like you went there?
Absolutely. I mean, I did, and I had seen something on TV or a show where they had visited some of those same sites, and it seemed, it almost seemed familiar, but it was, especially through the character of Laura.
Laura,
yeah. Yeah, through her eyes, seeing some of the things too, and I kind of felt the same way,
Yeah.
So
because she was new to it.
Because it was she, her. I was like, this is a lot of good classic little, like the professor and the student, kind of thing. Which goes back to this, noir or whatever. Type of elements. So that was there. You wonder what's going to happen there, and that was quite well written.
Thank you.
What was going on between the two, and I wondered how that was going to work out. Did you have a favorite character
in this story?
In this story?
I liked Nick.
Yeah.
I also liked Lavinia. So, but Nick, I really wanted to make him to be somebody you can't really hate or like. He's just pretty much there, blank slate. And I'm considering bringing him back in the next story.
Okay.
I'm writing,
Yeah, you could have a whole series.
Yeah. Give him a little more of a background. Answer those questions.
Right. Again, it made me feel like I'm definitely not an expert on noir. It's kind of, I feel like I'd know it when I see it, or something, or think about different things that was noir.
Well, if you think about movies, it'd be like Maltese Falcon, that type of stuff. So to give you that.
Humphrey Bogart. Thing. I thought of. I'm kind of a fan of the musical. Actually, the music, because I really haven't seen it. Is Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so the character, I don't know, are you familiar with?
I've seen it.
So the character, the young man, the young writer, right? He's kind of like that. Like
that falls into that whole genre.
So I definitely kind of could see some parallels with Nick. So I like. So I could identify, I guess, having listened to that many times, and to the story, which is all sung. I think it's all sung. So what he's going through, and it's a tragic ending. That I won't ruin it for anybody.
But it's good.
No, this one has a different kind of end. But anyway. But Lavinia, I thought you might say Lavinia because she just seemed kind of, I don't know, that was kind of interesting. She kept popping up and wondering, what is she up to?
Yeah. At first, I didn't know what she was going to be up to, and I'm like, she's going to be up to something.
Who is Lavinia? Can you give us?
So
if anybody,
Lavinia is a woman that Nick meets.
Yeah.
And
she has air conditioning.
She has air conditioning, and she owns like a flower shop type of place, botanical, like that also sells soaps and all that stuff. But she has some mysterious thing about her that I don't want to.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was,
I would say she's like the femme fatale of the story.
It's kind of interesting. Is when I looked up noir a little bit, and I looked up femme fatale.
Yeah.
One of the first, they said examples, Cersei.
Who's mentioned in the story?
Who's mentioned in the story.
Yeah.
So I said, who's the femme fatale? Is it Cersei?
That's great.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
Cersei of Greek mythology, for those.
Yes. The sirens and all. A lot of students learned it in high school.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't remember, whatever. But Ulysses, anyway.
Yeah. I'll remind you in this story.
Yes, you can be reminded of the story. But this whole element of this bracelet or the black market or people trying to get their hands on something from antiquity or whatever. That's the whole fascinating part of it. You wouldn't have a book without it.
Indiana Jonesy.
Okay. So can you tell us anything about how that ended up being the
product? So that's where I'll tell you that my previous book, A Mistake Incomplete, is sort of connected to this book. It's by Fire Tiny Thread. and it's the bracelet that carries on the story.
Oh, okay, all right.
So if you need to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and do some research.
See, I'm here to sell.
Read the the previous books. All three are available at
Everywhere.
everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
No, I definitely after reading I had to read the limited time, but I enjoyed reading the third.
But I will tell you that the bracelet also, that was always on my mind. I wanted some type of antiquity to bring in the classic history of Naples into there. I wanted a reason to talk about the mythology, how it's tied into that area, that region. So I wanted to go back and make it an antique that they're chasing.
Right. And there are some dangerous elements that come up as a result of that, and I think it gets pretty wild at times, and I guess, again, as a reader, I felt it.
Oh, good.
It's kind of like
I did my job.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick gets himself into some pretty harrowing situations, and for Gaetano.
Gaetano, yes.
I love the supporting characters as well, even the cab drivers.
Yeah. Because everybody you meet in life, they're a character. You know? So,
right. There you go. And I've been watching The Amazing Race a lot on. I don't know if you ever seen that, but just going places and getting places. He's trying to get a plane and doing different things like that, and just who knows who can help him or who may hurt him.
Right. Exactly.
So it creates that suspense until you're like, You're like, okay, is somebody else going to show up and do something ill will on him? But what's your writing process like?
So I thought I'd be more organized with my writing process, but I'm not. I would start with an idea, and I would just start writing scenes. And they're not in any order, because they'll just come to me like, at some point I want this scene. Let me write it out. Yeah. And then I'll have a bunch of scenes all written out, and I'll start stitching them together or reorganizing. And then I realize, I have a whole nother part of a story now here that I didn't think of earlier. Okay. Yeah. So that's how it happens. And then, so I'm constantly rearranging and rewriting.
Okay. And do you work with anyone at all, like as far as editing? No.
Oh yeah, editing. Yeah. After I'm done with. Okay. Editing. Yes. Well, first what I do is I give it to a couple of people to read, and I give them a list of questions. Basically, like, they're beta readers, they're called. And basically, I would tell them, what don't you like? What is a plot hole here? Or what didn't I answer? Or what do you wish I had more of? Right. And if it's something that I'm like, oh yeah, that's good, I have to answer their questions. If they have these big questions that I'm not done, so that helps. And then I give it to an editor, obviously, to polish it. Yeah. But
you never had to do a big, huge rewrite or restructuring or anything like that?
No, that's all my decision. Because again, I'm an independent author, so I'm not working with a publisher or anything like that.
Well, let me say that I say for
I would if I had one.
And who knows where that will? I don't know. It's probably nice kind of doing it yourself too. But I must say that just I've read some self-published stuff, but. Anyway, it just was very well organized. I didn't question. I didn't read anything and kind of say, I felt like everything is very, authentic. That it seemed well researched, or even just the wording, things, everything. I thought was really good like that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. I heard you say in I think a podcast that you sometimes have music playlists.
Yes.
To go with your writing. I do. And did you have one for this particular?
Yes. So for each of my books, I curate a playlist on Spotify. Yeah. So I do this for book clubs or anybody who wants to read. I also have recipes, cocktails and food recipes that go with the stories.
Oh, great. Oh, wow.
I created a lot of the cocktails myself. The food is classic foods that would be from the region. Yeah. And I do that again. It's all to bring the reader into that world with the characters. Oh. Book clubs I thought of too. If you're having a little book club meeting, you can have a nice little cocktail party with little finger foods and have music going on in the background. But again, this is music I listened to while I was writing the book too. Yeah. Because I think of what would the characters listen to.
Okay. Is there any music that we might know?
There might be, because I always mix it up with some 80s or something, and Italian music and English music, whatever. So it's good for everybody. But yes, there would be.
Well, could you mention anyone?
Whether
we know them or not, just we'll go and research later.
I mean, I'm trying to remember who I put in this playlist, but in all the playlists, like I would have something like, the Cardigans, The Love Fool, or I would have even Wham's Freedom. As far as the English language music and the Italian language music, I usually go with I grew up listening to like 90s music in Italy, so in the summers. So there was a lot of like Giovanotti and Zucchero and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. I think I do recall the Cardigans.
It's from the 90s. I have a mix of. It's like a nice little mix for everybody.
That's good. I don't know why George Michael has been coming up lately. I just went to a party and a guy was dressed as we all had a dress. I was Jerry Garcia, but he was George Michael. Yeah. Which was a lot of fun. But I digress. I could go off on that. But anyway, but food. How about what should we eat?
So for this one, I have a few recipes on my website. They're on there. Oh. One of them is called the parigina, and that is basically a pizza crust, and with a layer of tomato sauce, then a layer of sliced smoked ham, with slices of smoked mozzarella. Oh, nice. Then you top it with a pastry crust and bake it. So it's a mix of like French and Italian cuisine, because back in the 1800s, the Queen brought French cooks to Naples. Mm-hmm. So a lot of elements of French cuisine was mixed in with the Italian cuisine, and it's now like a popular street food of Italy. So I have the recipe on my website.
Wow. I've been embarking on this diet for not too long, and it's just killing me that everything Italian is just.
Well, this is the time of year when we give up on our resolutions and just start eating.
Yeah, because I would like to try that.
You should.
Is there any pasta dishes that?
For this one, no. But in my Love Fool, I have the carbonara, which is famous in Rome. But yeah. So.
Oh, good stuff. Now, what about the drinks?
The drinks, I'm all over the place. So basically, I have things from like, so one of the characters is Spanish in this book, and I have the Marionito, which is the Spain. They drink vermouth with a little bit of soda, something like that, something simple like that, or more complicated drinks, which I created, that will have like more herbal, like amaros. I mix it up with some cocktail, some liquor and stuff. So.
Oh, very good.
So it's me like basically teaching myself making cocktails and learning techniques. And I started this during the pandemic lockdown. I'm like, let me learn how to make some cocktails and learn some techniques and how to make foam or whatever. So and I started making my own things.
That's cool. I have all these things together. It's kind of cool. And there was a poem in the story. Yes, you write poetry as well.
Well, I do it for my books.
Yeah.
Each one has its own little poem.
I see. It's a nice little element.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Well, let's see.
So I'll give you a little bit about my background.
Yeah.
To tell you why about Italy. So basically, I started going to Italy, as I mentioned earlier, since I was 12. Spent my summers there from like 12 to maybe early 20s. The summers were there. And then after that, it was maybe 10 days a year or something, because you're adulting now. You can't spend a whole summer. So a lot of the Italian European culture was embedded in me. I am American, though, obviously, but I have a lot of that in me, too. So I always struggled with the culture, tug of war within me. So the important part of these books for myself is to kind of therapeutic in a way, into nourishing that part of me that I'm not able to nourish. So, and then I'm able to share it with everybody.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm Irish heritage, so I was in Ireland for the first time last year, and so that gives me thoughts.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be cool. So I think it's not published in Italian, but it is published in Italy, or
it's available.
It's available in
but
Italy, and
always English language. Yeah.
Yeah, in English language. And any have you talked to anybody from Naples that has read it?
Not yet.
Not
No.
yet. That would be pretty cool.
No, they're all asking me, can you get it translated? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it costs money, but
Right,
think about it. Yeah.
But that would be cool because well, anyway,
Yeah.
it like I said, I can tell that, the amount of work that you put into.
Thank you. I'm
bringing
hoping
that
that it will resonate with Italian Americans here, because
Yes.
a lot of the immigrants came from southern Italy, and
Right.
they might be interested in it.
Absolutely. People I've known that go back all the time.
Yeah.
That same kind of thing, that they're only like second generation
Right.
Italians, or maybe not too far back.
Yeah.
That they that as soon as like they have vacation time or
Yeah.
whatever, they go over, and there's always family and
Right.
people welcome back. And
Right, exactly. And this hopefully will help you, understand the area better.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I talked to my teacher friend who's bringing some students over to Italy later this year, and made me think that, like, what a great thing in this book. I'm gonna let him borrow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have him buy one.
Yeah, support me.
support the book. Support the book. So obviously, I know you want to continue writing. So
Yeah, I'm actually working on my next one already.
yeah. Wow.
The only thing I can say is,
Yeah.
I will say, is that I'm writing a direct sequel to this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nick will be in it.
Nick.
Yeah.
Terenzi?
Yeah, Nick Terenzi.
Nick Terenzi. Maybe we'll find out some more about Nick and
Yeah. I don't know where it's going to be set yet, but
yeah,
yeah.
how things play out for him.
Mhm.
Okay, so if people want to get their copy, I'm sure they do, and sure you should.
Yeah.
Where should they go?
It's available at Barnes & Noble. It's in stock in many Barnes & Noble. Available on Amazon or any of your favorite booksellers. They have them. And last year I did a whole bunch of Barnes & Noble book signings. So they're in stock at many of them. So if you go on my website, magnusmade.com,
Right,
they'll be on there.
and that's where you can find some of the other things too.
Recipes,
Recipes.
book club tips, discussion
good stuff.
questions,
Yeah.
my blog.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on Author Talk, Lorenzo.
Than's for having me.
It's been a lot of fun, and I hope to read some more of your stuff, and maybe check out some of these other things. Maybe have that
Did some food,
Italian,
cocktails.
some of the food,
Yeah.
cocktails, and things. So, and so thank you for tuning in to Author Talk again. We hope you will join us again in the future. We'll see you next time.